Hey everybody, how y'all feel out there? I'm Greg Aalvik, and this is the Dubl A Show. This is the Dubl A Show with your host, Greg Aalvik. On today's show, we're taking on the question, what was the mysterious fruit on the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? This program is chock full of objectionable language, so with that understood, Greg is going to let it flow and help you grow on the Dubl A Show. What fruit did Adam eat? Why do we even want to know the type of fruit? Why would that be important? Do you think that it might be? Do you think that just maybe if we could nail down the exact type of fruit that was eaten in the Garden of Eden, if we went up and we could pluck that right off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that wouldn't help us be able to find an antidote, possibly? Because mankind, according to most all of Christianity, took a gigantic fall, right? In the beginning, they called it the fall of man. Crazy title. Supposedly, we all went tumbling down this proverbial spiritual hill from some lofty height. Nobody knows how and where it was from, because there's no mention of it in the Bible, nowhere. In an earlier video, I mentioned that the fruit the snake was peddling had to be some kind of poison, right? And so that's why I said, if we can figure it out, what kind of fruit it was, maybe we can come up with an antidote. What kind of fruit was it on the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? Do you know? I'm listening. I'm waiting. Hold your hand up if you know. Oh, it was an apple. The fact that most of us don't know, right off the top of our heads already, just boom, like everybody should know that, right? You'd think it's one of the basic fundamental things in the Bible. It shows how poorly religious leadership has been for the last 2,000-3,000 years or so. I mean, how bad can you actually get? Anymore, though, and we can just go Google shit, right? So, turns out, if you Google what tree was on the tree of the knowledge of good, what fruit was on the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you're not going to get much. Listen to what this one genius said, and I found it to be commonplace among people who think they know shit from the Bible, like pastors and stuff. He said this: as for scriptural support that the fruit was a grape, let me first say that it really doesn't matter what the fruit was. You know, this is only the first 3 chapters of a book, and those are short little chapters. You know, if you've ever messed around in the Bible, it's not like a chapter of a book. It's a chapter. In the Bible, it's a page, page and a half. Most important, most influential book in the history of mankind. And most people out there still don't know that Adam and Eve, they think they ate a fucking apple. There's no excuse for it. I don't even think it's lazy. I think it's purposeful evasion. You can call it poor scholarship if you want to. It's more sinister than that, though, I'm afraid. It's out and out insidious. The greatest sin ever of omission to be perpetrated on mankind. The fact that the snake got one couple to eat a piece of fruit, that's bad. People think that's bad, right? But consider this. See, I think this is worse. That most people who ever lived on this planet since that time till now don't know what they ate. This is the biggest deal. It brought down all of mankind, and they don't know, most people don't know what it was they ate. That's the scandal. That's bigger. That's the biggest pull the wool over your eyes move ever. Here's what scares me about it, because I ain't Paul. I'm not Augustine. I'm not John fucking Calvin. What am I doing reporting this shit? Why am I the one? How come we all don't know this shit already? All these churches are on every street corner, and they can't even come up with the most basic information. This should be taught in kindergarten class. in school, in the little kids class. Two ways to look at it. Either everyone who's ever gone to seminary is pretty much retarded, or they're in on it. They're part of a plot. That's it. We're into conspiracies, right? Let's do the plot to keep fundamentally important information from the entire population. The damage it's done has been immense. And I'm looking to reverse a lot of that in this very video, if I can. I'm going to try. Hang out with me. Let's see what we can figure out. I think you're going to be mouth dropped, wide open. Oh, shit. So, let's get started. Let's go back to the Garden of Eden. Here we go. We just dropped in there, right into the Garden of Eden, like Scotty, just boom, right? So, I'm your tour guide. Over here on your right, that'd be your right, would be the tree of life. And the tree of life is it's a tree. And so then over here on the other side, it's the most beautiful tree in the whole garden. It's lovely. Look at all the beautiful fruit on it. It's very impressive. It's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. There it is, folks. And it's the highlight of the whole garden. You can walk up to it. Let's go look at it and see if we can see. So wait, do you remember though? Remember I didn't go to seminary, right? Whatever you call it. You might think that disqualifies me, but consider this. I ain't wearing their glasses. I don't see shit through their lenses. So their blindness hasn't affected me. These guys are the people who dominate and dictate what the biblical narrative is out there to the churches. They get to determine what it says. And if you're a member or a pastor or a student, you have to look and look at things their way. You have to see it the way they want you and the way they tell you to see it. They want you to think the way they do and look at things the way they look at it. They want you to see it the way they see it. So like me, I found one thing after another in the Bible. No one told me. No one said shit about it. I found, and after you find so much of this stuff, sorry I'm stumbling, but after you find so much, no one ever taught this part of the Bible to me. No one ever showed me this. And you stop believing that they know anything at all. You start wondering what they be doing in seminary. What are they doing? They've been missing this shit for years, and they're going to keep on missing it because they're not allowed to see it another way. And that's why a dude like me can be breaking some news. Breaking news. Stay tuned. Coming up at 11, we have an exclusive here on the Dubl A Show. We have an interview coming up. And let's see if our guest is here. Our resident expert on the subject, me. So we want everyone to stand back. He's about ready to break the news. It's going to explode like an atom bomb throughout the whole world. Are you ready? The story is a serpent up in this tree right here is said to have taken down all of mankind by beguiling us, convincing us to eat this poisonous fruit. Everyone's been so nonchalant about it. It kills me. Their research is weak. Their study is sloppy. Their scriptural knowledge is useless. And all of them just brush it off like it's nothing. Makes me crazy. No one gives a fuck. This is the whole reason mankind bit it. And you don't want to know what it is. I know I'm being repetitive, but yeah. It pissed me off because I went to church like all my life up until the last 20. And which I'm doing so much better now. Thank you. We've been handing our money, our tithes, our offerings, right, to these motherfuckers who, they've been guilt tripping us, right, out of our dollars for centuries. false premises. We got swindled, dude, guilted and pillaged for years. No. My pastor is a man of God. He's really my pastor's special. Of course he is. Of course he is. He's the nicest man ever. Yeah, well, it's not like he's getting paid to be or nothing, right? I mean, could you imagine a pastor that says, my pastor's a real asshole. He berates us every Sunday, calls us the scum of the earth. We just love him to death. He's awesome. He's awesome when he's not screaming at us. I mean, you got to be nice. You're a pastor. It makes no sense. Imagine, how would you get through seminary? Would you stop touching her? Leave her alone. You're not allowed to touch others in class. Stop it. I don't care how nice somebody is. It doesn't matter. What they need to be is effective. If they're teaching scriptures, they should be sharing the truth with you. If they ain't sharing truth, you are being tortured. He's basically torturing you. How do you figure? If you're withholding vital information from people, omitting it, and you're not sharing the most important information, most basic information, it don't make you a man of God. It makes you a concentration camp guard. You're a man of the seminary at the very best. You're a man of the denomination that you signed up with. Pastors get locked into this particular view of Scripture unless they're Superman and they break out of that jail that they jumped into voluntarily when they signed up to go to seminary. You learn fairly useless opinions that have been out there for centuries. And you have to toe the line. You got to pay people, these pastors in these denominations. They don't survive on nothing. They need money. And guess where they get it? From you. Yeah. They get it from you. It ain't just about taking your money, though. They ain't taking your mama's money. They taking your grandmama's money. They take your great-grandmama's money. If you don't pay tithes and offerings, your finances will be cursed. They won't be blessed. If you don't give the church money, it's a sin. It's giving to the Lord. It's giving to the Lord. If you give money to the church, you're giving money to the Lord. Have you heard the story of the widow with the 2 mites? Have you heard that one? Let's tell it to you again so you give me more money, because I know you have more in the bottom of your pocket. You know, it's that shit that's been keeping our families broke for centuries. These fucking thieves need to be exposed for who and what they are. And so guess what? I'm about to do that right now. I'm going to get down. So let's get ready for the first major earth-shattering announcement. Ready? Drum roll, please. It wasn't no apple. I know. You saw that already on the thumbnail of the video you're watching right now. But it weren't no apple. And I know some people are shitting a brick right now. There's like, oh, I'm sorry, lady. Oh, is she okay? She hit her head. She fell over and hit her head. I should have had everybody sit down for that. I'm very sorry. I was very irresponsible. Let me just shout out something so crazy like that. It wasn't an apple. That alone should make you trip out for a bit, though. I always thought it was an apple. There was, nor has there ever been, no apple mentioned anywhere. Wasn't no pear, wasn't no oranges mentioned, no pomegranate, no bananas. But that would be funny if there was bananas mentioned. Wouldn't that be funny? I think it would be funny because there's all that trail of people that kind of into this other, you know, because they think the fruit is a sexual metaphor. They think something hanky-panky took place between Satan and Eve back in the day. You know what I mean? Think it's a bunch of garbage, but you know, they just made this shit up. And there's a whole bunch of this is newfangled biblically based witchcraft stuff that's going around these days. And I don't really listen to any of that. It's just kind of funny to me because the fruit isn't a metaphor for sex. I'll debunk that shit in a second. Just takes a second. Snakes ain't got a dick. There you go. Done. Humans and snakes ain't a thing. Can't happen. It's impossible. Some perv's going to try to prove me wrong right now. Watch. Some moron with bangs is going to get all intense with me and start talking about Lilith and shit. And that shit's way too culty, man. And kind of freaks me out a little bit because they're against religion. Isn't that funny? It's just carnal. It's just so carnal. You're taking these spiritual ideas and they turn them into carnal, physical things. And it's stupid. And that's the same mistake that churches make. If you're interested in that shit and you want me to address it, just leave me a comment below in the video and say, get into it. I want to hear more about the snakes and bananas. And I'll give you a little preview. Okay, consider this. Later on, Adam and Eve actually have physical sex. Okay, they have physical sex, and the Bible puts it like this: and Adam knew Eve. Wait. And Adam knew Eve. So, where was the fruit in that, though? It just says Adam knew Eve. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, know what I mean, know what I mean? He knew her, right? Biblical dating advice. Hey, baby, you read the Bible? Because if you know what I'm saying, I just like to take my time and really get to know you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Leave a comment below if you actually get a hookup from that line. And see, the Dubl A Show is so cool because we bringing people together. But that Lilith bullshit is no better or worse than anything that's coming out of the churches. If you're carnal, you're carnal. They're teaching us, being mere humans, that we're mere humans, unworthy sinners, creatures destined for hellfire. It's all carnal. It's all earthly. It's not spiritual. Nothing spiritual is being taught to people that are sitting in those churches. And most of these places are like that. And what you'll notice is everyone's the same for a long time. I mean, they never change. They've been going there for years, too. No growth, no excitement, no spiritual advancement. But I digress. I digress. It's one of my better digressions, too. I love digressing. I just love I digress. I digress. I'm going to wear it proud like a banner. I digress. It'll be my next mug, my Dubl A mug. It'll say Dubl A Show. I digress. Promise, it's coming. I love digressing. We're going to hang on to that thought and return to finish our journey to discover the treasured implications of the knowledge of good and evil, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But I'm going to get into this thing here, my book, called The Parable. The Parable. When we talk about the Bible earlier in a couple of videos ago, I talked to you about the symbolism, the spiritual symbolism. We were talking about figs, fig trees. We were talking about symbols of spiritual things. The knowledge of good and evil is a spiritual thing, and it affects the way you think, which is a spiritual thing. And parables speak of metaphors. They speak in the world of allegories. Jesus spoke in parables. And my premise in a lot of this book, not the total premise, is the fact that Jesus was God in the flesh. And Jesus spoke in parables, which is telling us something about the way God speaks to us. God spoke in parables. So all those crazy stories like the Adam and Eve story, parable. Learn the symbolism, learn the figurative language, learn the prophetic language, learn this typology, and you'll learn the true message of the Bible. And that's what I try to open up for you in my book, written by me, Rescuing the Bible from the Clutches of the Church, the parable. Please get it. That's what it's about. And while you're looking around for stuff to buy, I have my mugs here. I love my mugs. They're Dubl A Show mug. I have several different ones on my Etsy site. You can go on there and look around. All my mugs are double-sided. For people that are left-handed, they can see my logo, and people that are sitting across the room, you can see my logo too. That is good apple juice. So anyway, if you get that from me, it supports my ministry, and you will be a good person, and God will richly bless you, my beloved. He will get, if you give money to the Dubl A Show, you'll be giving money to the Lord. God, I hate that. So anyway, I want to let you know, oh, you know what? I have the Dubl A Nation mug. I'll show a picture of the Dubl A Nation mug right up there. And it's going to have like the flag and Dubl A and then Nation instead of Show. And because if you're going to be in the fan club, man, you're going to be in the Dubl A Nation. And then on the flip side, it has this cool seal because I was really in a presidential mode back then. So I really kind of dig it, but it's a Dubl A Nation seal now. Be sure to share things. It really helps me, guys. When you share, it puts it out to a whole new audience. Other people get to see it, and you can be a part of offending a whole nother group of people. It's really awesome. Hit like. If you don't want to share, just hit like. Just hit like. Like it. Something you liked. If you liked a little bit of it, hit like. And then follow me so you can like other things. And then you can subscribe. Because when you subscribe, then it makes me feel better. And if you hit notification, the notification bell is the one that alerts you when new videos come out. So I will be doing another... Excuse me, gosh. That means I need to stop. Let's lock this bitch up.